Hello, I'm Lora Cheadle, and this is Coffee with the Librarians. And today we are going to talk about truth or illusion. It's the first week of December 2024, and I've got a little preview of this whole truth and illusion thing. So let me connect in because we're about to launch into a new year. And while our guides in the energy, while there's really no that such thing as time, when we are on Earth, when we are connected to this linear idea of time, the new year means something new to us. So, what they want to honor is the closing out of this time frame and the leaning in to a new time frame. And while they say that we want to hear, we are closing out illusion and that we are moving into truth. Oh, this is interesting. In reality, what we're doing is we are closing out truth in air quotes and moving into illusion, which is actually the preferred way to do things. That's interesting. Okay, what they're saying is we tend to get hung up on the idea of truth, the idea of absolute truth, the idea of good or bad or right or wrong, or everybody should think this because it's true, when in fact there is no objective reality. There is no objective reality because in order for something to be, it has to be perceived. In order for something to be, it has to be perceived. In order to be perceived, there needs to be a perceiver. You're making this difficult. There has to be a perceiver, and no two perceivers are ever the same. They just said that's basic philosophy 101, Laura. Yes, thank you. You're right. But there is no objective reality. In order for things to be perceived, there needs to be a perceiver, and all perceivers will have their own glasses, their own lenses, their own stories. They will all perceive it because a perceiver is a filter. Okay, a perceiver is a filter. So when we talk about truth, there is no ultimate truth because it has to be perceived, and all perceivers are a filter, so everything is filtered. That is what has gotten us into disconnection on planet Earth. Wow. That's what's gotten us into disconnection on planet Earth because we are all perceivers. And instead of honoring, you're a perceiver, I'm a perceiver, you're a perceiver, he's a perceiver, she's a perceiver, they're all perceivers over there, we have gotten locked in somehow to this belief that there is ultimate truth and this desire to all perceive things the same way. We are dropping that illusion. That is the illusion that all perceivers can see things the same way. The reason that we are embodied, the reason that we are all given physical eyes is so we can see things differently. Because how boring would it be if we all had the same eyes and we all saw things the same? We want to be in different bodies. We want to have different eyes. We want to be different. We want to perceive things differently. That's what gives things tone and texture and color and richness. Now, that said, that was what we wanted. That's what we were set up for. That's what we were given. And instead of finding the joy and the richness around that, we as a culture, as a society, as humans, have moved into stress and discord around that because we are not seeing the gifts that that was meant to give us. The two ways to solve this, the two ways to have peace on earth are one, to move into a position where we all see and embrace the joy of being different perceivers. And what the librarians are saying is, what they're saying is that time has passed. We are beyond being able to do that. That is not something that we're going to be able to do anymore. So they want to make us aware that that was an option. That timeline has closed. That timeline is closed. That is not something that we're going to joyfully be able to move into. That's why we're moving in to illusion. Instead of truth, we are now moving into illusion. And this is hard to convey, but what they're saying is this is actually the stronger position. When they say that timeline of finding joy in everybody being a different perceiver and perceiving things differently, when they say that timeline has closed, that is not like, oh, you missed it. You could have had it and you missed it. That's not a bad thing like that. That was an option for making things work. What we are moving into is an actual higher timeline because it has got more self-actualized power, is what they're saying. The timeline that we're moving into is the timeline of illusion. The timeline of illusion is the timeline where we are all aware that everything that we see is an illusion. Okay, that makes sense. Instead of finding the joy that we have different perceivers perceiving things differently, we are moving into the timeline where we are all aware that what we see is an illusion anyway, that all realities are created by our internal state. I see things based on what I create. You see things based on what you create. Everybody out there sees things based on what they create. It is the illusion. Life is an illusion. It's back to the whole matrix. We are moving into a time frame where we are aware that what we are creating is an illusion. And when we can own the creation of our own illusions and enjoy the creation of our own illusions and recreate it when we are receiving something that we don't want to receive with that state of creative awareness, that is a higher timeline. And that is what we are primed and ready to move into, whether it's astrologically speaking or energetically speaking or whatever it is. This is what we are being primed to move into. We are being moved into the time of illusion. They're giving me that, the time of illusion. We are moving into the time of illusion where we are aware that everything we perceive is an illusion created by us. Now, I want to make sure I'm getting all this. The place to be aware, where they want us to be aware, is we have the option of buying into other people's illusions and seeing that. And so many of us want to choose somebody else's illusion. It's prepackaged. It's like we're taking something off the shelf. Instead of creating dinner and making our own dinner, we want the prepackaged meal and we want to take that and we want to take that. Instead of sewing our own garments, that's the word, garments, sewing our own garments, we want to go to the store and buy something that has been pre-made. They're just saying be careful of that, because when you are going to the store to buy what is pre-made, there's only a certain number of things that are available. There are only a certain number of meals. There are only a certain number of garments. There are only a certain number of illusions out there. So if you're finding something that is higher than what you could have created on your own, that is better than what you could have created on your own, that is more empowering and forgiving and loving, and you're like, this is it because it's higher than I could have created on my own, then take that off the shelf and connect to that vision. But be mindful of if it's this isn't exactly what I wanted, this isn't what I dreamed possible. Make sure you're not selecting a lower vision. And if you need to select a lower vision, there's something around the word lower vision. Oh, ha, ha, ha. Television is lower vision. Television is lower vision. There's asking how many times are the images that you see on television lower and how many times are they higher? They're saying more often than not, television is broadcasting an image of what is less than you could create on your own. And then we get stuck believing, well, that's what I'm seeing, so that is the only thing of what is possible for me. Television is lower vision. Yeah, television is lower vision. If you want to select the higher vision, whether it's a thought leader, an influencer, a program. There are great visionaries out there. Find the visions that are higher than where you're at right now, and you can attach to those visions. Just make sure you're not doing the lower vision, and know that at any time, even if you have connected to a lower vision or even to a higher vision, it's up to you to continue to build and to amplify and to elevate and to raise up your vision of how you want to experience this earth, this planet, our relationships, our things. So we are moving from a time of truth. There is no ultimate truth, to a time of vision. All there is vision. All there is vision. You are free to create a higher vision or a lower vision, but create a vision. Create your vision, because when we are all creating higher visions and then we're allowing people to hook into our higher visions, then it's going to launch them higher, and then it's going to launch them higher, and it's going to launch them higher. They're saying the phrase rising tides lifts all boats is meant to be inspirational, but it's not, in that a rising tide may lift all boats, which is good. And yet, when a boat is lifted, another boat should come up, and then it'll raise that one, and another one will come up, and another one. So the phrase should be rising tides inspires all boats. So rising tides inspires all boats to lift higher, because we're all only able to go so high, and we need each other to keep creating a higher and higher vision for us. I love that. Yeah, I love that. So truth and illusion. We are moving into the time of vision and illusion, which is a good thing. Remember, there is no ultimate truth. Create the vision, create the illusion. All of life is an illusion anyway. So if it is what you make it something good. I love that. I can't wait to see you next week. Have an amazing week. Bye, y'all.